Another dreadful story, 1996, Australia, mass shooting, somewhat similar to the one in Las Vegas. After that shooting in 1996, Australia, the government there banned automatic and semi-automatic weapons. They literally confiscated 600,000 guns and destroyed them. There hasn't been a mass shooting since then in Australia. John Lott is with us. He's with the Crime Prevention Research Centre. Now, John, is it your position that getting rid of guns, if we could do that, would not help? Make your case.
Well, look, I mean, France, which has much stricter gun control laws than Australia has, Australia didn't ban semi-automatic guns. What it did was it destroyed about 1 million of them, and then you had to get certain licenses. But France has much stricter rules. You completely ban semi-automatic guns, and yet they've had many attacks with machine guns. The terrorists there seem to have been able to get all sorts of weapons.
So your position seems to be that, look, you can ban anything you like, you can make rule changes any which way you like, but essentially the bad guys in America will always be able to get guns. Is that your point?
Well, yeah. I mean, look at this killer in Las Vegas. He had wired his car apparently as an ammonia nitrate bomb. He had many, what the police say are lots of bombs at his home. Let's say he hadn't been able to get a hotel room on that side of the hotel. Would he have taken his car and driven it into the crowd and had it explode? I mean, who knows? Yeah. Who knows what his alternatives were there?
Now, what about banning these modification devices like the bump stock, or it's also called, I think, the trigger crank? Supposing you to ban those devices which allow you to turn a weapon into an automatic rapid-fire weapon, what would happen if you banned them?
Well, I mean, you can try to ban them. I have no problem with banning them, but the problem is, as with a lot of these laws, I just don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. I wish there were simple things that were there. I mean, the one thing that everybody seems to have been talking about from yesterday morning, or from Monday morning on, was universal background checks. That's been the big thing that they've been pushing. And yet, it wouldn't have stopped this attack, and even though President Obama brought it up after every mass public shooting you talked about during his administration, and wouldn't have stopped one of those. I wish, you know, the thing is, they're relatively simple things that people can do to get around these types of regulations. And, you know, it's kind of like the discussion that we have about magazine size limits. Magazines are incredibly simple things to make. They're boxes with a spring. People who have a simple metal workshop can put one out in a couple of minutes. And yet, if you ban those types of things, who are the ones you're going to be banning? It's basically law-abiding people who obey the rules. You're not really making it that much more difficult for criminals to get them.
John, I've got 20 seconds. Can you tell me, in 20 seconds, is there one thing which you would recommend which would help cut down on mass shootings?
Well, generally, it would be to get rid of these gun-free zones. I mean, the Stephen Scalise case is a perfect example. D.C.'s regulations prevented a number of congressmen, at least 6 who have their own concealed carry permits and their staff members, from being able to go and carry because they were banned in D.C. and they were banned going back after work to work afterwards. But the vast majority of these mass public shootings take place where victims aren't allowed to be able to go and defend themselves.
All right, John Lott, I don't think this debate is over at all. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.